Hey guys, Dominating Reaper here. So I've just got done watching Heads of State on Prime Video. This is directed by Ilya Naishuller, director of Hardcore Henry and Nobody. This is also produced by Peter Safran, co-head of DC Studios. And like obviously a glance at the poster for this, and the first thought that is probably rushing through your mind is fake Amazon original. But I had some level of optimism because, again, Naishuller is in the director's chair, and I have very much enjoyed his other films, and I'm also a big fan of his band, Biting Elbows. So his involvement gave me some hope that this would, at the very least, be entertaining, especially since it has a very interesting premise that you could easily get a really fun action comedy out of. But does the film live up to the potential of its fun action comedy hook? Let's find out. So the film follows Sam Clarke, the UK Prime Minister, and Will Derringer, the President of the United States. Clarke and Derringer have quite a public rivalry that threatens the relationship between their two nations, but the pair are soon forced to work together after Air Force One is shot down while en route to a NATO summit in Italy, and so the pair, on the run, find themselves caught up in the middle of a global conspiracy involving Russian arms dealer Viktor Gradov, one that threatens the entire free world as they know it. So I've got to address the elephant in the room, and that is that, this is a streaming original, and, those are, at best of times, a bit of a mixed bag. A lot of it is what some might refer to as being slop, but in amongst that, there is that rare gem that shines through. I'm happy to say this is that. It's certainly not an amazing movie and is probably the weakest of Naishuller's films, but it is a very entertaining film that I absolutely enjoyed watching and does exactly what it says on the tin. So the film gets off to a bit of a rocky start with a quite generic opening scene involving a mission gone wrong, and from there cuts to some quite clunky attempts to set up the rivalry between Clarke and Derringer. So it takes a little bit to find its footing, but once the inciting incident on board Air Force One happens, the film kicks into gear and is from there a lot of fun to watch, as it very much leans into the inherent absurdity of its central premise. But I think what really makes it work is the central two-hander between Idris Elba as Sam Clarke and John Cena as Will Derringer. The two of them have very much got proven comedic chemistry. Watch James Gunn's The Suicide Squad.
Are you having a laugh?
What?
You just said each member of the team is chosen for their unique abilities. He does exactly what I do.
But better.
I always hit my targets dead center.
I hit them more in the center.
You can't hit something more in the center?
I use smaller bullets.
What?
They go inside your bullet holes without even touching the side.
It's that very much established dynamic that really makes this work. It really shines here, Elba is very much the straight man of the two as this, quite world-weary prime minister, while Cena very much gets to lean into his, vast comedic chops as this, charismatic film star turned president who's, out of his element in an actual combat situation, And the film gets plenty of laughs out of their little mismatched dynamic and, constant bickerings. But there's also some quite tender moments of character development between the two that really work because, the two of them are very likable and have great screen presence about them. That means that they are easy to root for and get behind. But of course, beyond that central two-hander, there's very much a big global conspiracy at play here, a high-stakes plot with, very much that sort of ticking time bomb element at play. Of course, the players here are very, very fun to watch, whether it be Priyanka Chopra Jonas as Noelle, a secret agent who has a bit of history with Sam. She's very much the sort of straight man or straight woman, very much keeping the two bickering world leaders in line, getting a very fun dynamic out of it. We also have Paddy Considine as Viktor Grabov, this villainous Russian arms dealer, and Considine, very likable screen presence, and everything he's in, and that really shines through here as he very much gets the chance to play this very fun villain. And we've also got, likes of Carla Gugino as Derringer's vice president, and Sarah Niles as, very much, a close cabinet official of Derringer's. But easily the highlight of the ensemble is Jack Quaid as fanboyish, gun-toting station agent Marty, who gets a very, very fun fight scene set to Beastie Boys. In fact, in general, the action scenes here are very, very entertainingly staged. Obviously, Neishuller is a dab hand at directing action, and he very much shoots these scenes with a certain level of energy and flair. That keeps things fast-paced and exciting to watch. It does enough to sort of overcome the bloodless PG-13 violence of it all. Even if some of the effect shots are a little bit ropey, but these action scenes are all very, very entertaining and do a very good job of keeping up the momentum of its high-stakes plot, and also very much plays into the central comic pairing of Elba and Cena, effortlessly. It's all very, very fun stuff to watch, and very much keeps things moving along nicely with a very good pace. It never feels like it's dragging on, but never feels like it's rushed either. It keeps up a very good, healthy pace throughout, building to a great climax at the NATO summit in Italy. Admittedly, there is a big plot twist in this third act that is very, very easily guessable. But man, that third act is so much fun, and it really is where the film comes into its element, because man, the action in this final act, with a big car chase through the streets of Italy, is just so damn entertaining, and also get some very, very satisfying character payoffs for Clark and Derringer. Very much ensuring that you'll leave this with a smile on your face, having had a good time. And honestly, I'd be down for a sequel to see, what, global scale antics Clark and Derringer find themselves in. Yeah, if that happens, I'll be there, honestly. Overall, Heads of State is an entertaining action comedy that does exactly what it says on the tin, delivering fun action scenes and great laughs thanks to its central dynamic of Idris Elba and John Cena. Out of 10, Heads of State gets a 7. So, let me know down in the comments, have you seen Heads of State? What did you think of it? Would you be interested in a sequel involving these two characters? What did you make of Elba and Cena's comic pairing? And what's your favourite Ilya Neishuller film? Let me know all that down in the comments. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're new. And don't forget to turn on post notifications so you don't miss an upload.